Welcome back to the podcast. Happy Easter,
Happy
everybody.
Easter, everyone.
Right now, there's nothing. Let's be honest. There's nothing really exciting happening in sports right now.
Nothing exciting enough to make a podcast out of it. I mean,
We've got the NBA Finals, but who really wants to talk about the NBA Finals? Who really wants to listen to us talk about the NBA Finals?
No one on this podcast.
Nope.
And I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it either.
Baseball's going, but they just started.
It just started.
Nothing earth-shattering going on there. We could talk about the Usfl, which started up last night. Which, by the way, on a note, I watched the second half of the game last night. Not half bad for USFL.
Is it just like college football? Or is it similar to the NFL? Does it resemble the NFL?
Yeah. I mean, the play isn't as good. Obviously, the players are not as good. But it's football in April. You can't complain about that. It was entertaining. Is it as good as the NFL? No. Am I going to be glued to my television set watching it? No, but it wasn't a bad product for the first game I saw.
I think if there's nothing on, you could just turn it, or not really just nothing on, you could just turn it on and see what's going on. But...
So, you said there's not much going on in the sports world.
So, in the spirit of Easter? I don't know what to call it. That's more of the
celebration
of Easter. We are going to be talking about our top 5 candies, and I'm putting this on you, putting pressure on you a little bit. Our favorite Easter candy. So like jelly beans, Peeps. I don't know whatever you would consider.
I've got a top 5 candy list. I'm not wavering from it. So this sports podcast, we're going to turn into a candy podcast for one show only. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And then I do also want to introduce our new segment, which we've been thinking, and now that we're pros at this, we need to introduce fun, exciting segments. So we're going to introduce a new segment called Zip It.
Explain Zip It really quick.
Zip It is our opportunity to get something off of our chest and go on a mini rant, or in some cases an extended rant about a particular topic in sports. So I definitely have a rant to go on today.
I do not.
That's okay.
I have nothing to rant about, so we're going to be listening to you for probably about half of this podcast.
Well, look, what is this? Show 7, show 8 now?
I actually don't know.
I've been pretty reserved up to this point in time. It's your podcast. I've been letting you attempt to take control of this. I've tried not to talk as much as I want to, but I have a lot to say. And I have a lot of rants about a lot of topics and about a lot of people. So today, you're going to experience firsthand my first rant.
But before we get to that, candy.
All right, top 5 candy. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to do your list?
We could go back and forth, like my 5, but I think that would just, then your 5, but I feel like that would just get way too confusing.
Why don't you just give me your 5 and then give me your quick reasoning behind each one of these on your list.
Okay, so number 5, we have Mike and Ike's. I know you love Mike and Ike's, but it is my number 5. I love how I love how they're sweet. The red ones are my favorite. They amazing. I don't know what it is about them, but it is sweet, a nice gummy type thing, and I love it. It's very good. Number 4, we have M&M's, regular M&M's, not peanut, caramel, or whatever other stuff, just regular M&M's. I just love how they're plain. They're just nice, crunchy chocolate that you put into your mouth, and sometimes if you leave it in there for a little bit, it just starts melting away. and it is an amazing feeling.
I don't agree with your number 4, but it's your list, so continue.
Number 3, we have Reese's Cups.
Okay,
I love
fair.
sweet things, and that is why I really like Reese's Cups. I love anything peanut butter. I love chocolate, and those two mixed is what Reese's Cups literally is, and it is amazing.
It's a great combination. It really
It
is.
really is. Peanut butter and chocolate, I think one of the best combinations.
You can get the mini ones in the bag. You can get the 2-pack. You can get the 4-pack.
And like during holidays, there's like the Christmas trees, the Easter eggs.
The Reese's Easter eggs are the best.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but they're the best.
They have something in them. Like the circular shape is really gets you. Anyway, number 2, we have Sour Patch Kids watermelon, specifically the watermelon ones. These I love. Number 1 is actually Sour Patch Kids, but let me just talk about these two at the same time.
Okay.
Sour Patch Kids, what I love to do with them is what's their saying? Sweet, sour, gone, I think that's what it is. You put it in your mouth, you you just let all the sour go onto your tongue. All of the sour dissolves, and then you just have a sweet, nice gummy, and it is the greatest thing ever. And watermelon ones are really good, but I would still put the Sour Patch Kids normal, regular above them.
Okay.
And my favorite Easter candy has to be Starburst jelly beans. Those are undefeated. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, by the way, I've been eating all your Starburst jelly beans today.
That's where they all went. I noticed a huge loss.
That'd be this guy right here.
And I got yelled at for eating them. Eating too much.
You can't just leave them out in the open. Is what it is. All right. That's a good list. And by the way, let me just say, I think that segment there of candy is the most excited you've gotten on a podcast to this point in time about any topic.
Whoa. From our feedback, I have heard so many times that you are not excited at all. You do not sound excited at all.
Again.
And I'm not the normally excited one.
Again, it's your podcast. I'm trying to take a back seat to you.
So what, you're trying to stay on my tone?
That's right.
Of excitement?
That's right.
Or my level?
That's right. Whatever you just did there with the candy that's the most excited you've gotten.
I'm in my YouTuber recording voice, okay?
Okay, fair enough.
I think I need to go to that more.
Okay.
Because I recorded another video today, and I think I'm just in that mode.
Okay. All right. Good list. Let me give you mine.
All right.
So number 5, peanut M&Ms. Peanut M&Ms. Plain M&Ms, garbage.
All right. I disagree that plain M&Ms are garbage, but I don't disagree that peanut M&Ms are good. I don't disagree with that.
Sweet and salty combination.
That's the one thing I don't like about them, though. That's why I like regular M&Ms better. I just don't like salt in my sweet candy. Salt and sweetness don't go together.
They don't. They absolutely do.
With it in what? In what? Peanut M&Ms. Name off some other stuff.
Chocolate covered pretzels.
I never said I liked those. I don't like those that much.
It's my list, not yours. So peanut M&Ms, number 5. Number 4, Twizzlers.
Okay.
And let me clarify. Strawberry flavored Twizzlers, not the black licorice Twizzlers.
Black licorice is gross.
Not Red Vines, which is a fake knockoff of Twizzlers. Strawberry Twizzlers. Absolutely delicious. Number 3, Skittles.
Okay.
Now, many varieties of Skittles, but you really can't go wrong in any of them.
Which one would you say is the best?
Well, you've got I don't know what you call them, the regular ones. And then we have the tropical, we have wild berry, we have sour. Honestly, I could make an argument for any of those. If you made me pick, I would probably say the tropical. Just absolutely delicious. Grab a handful, toss them in your mouth. All that flavor combination together, it's glorious. Number 2, Starburst.
Okay.
Starburst are amazing. Not only because they taste good, but it's like opening how many Starburst are in a package? 12, 14?
Two. Well, what do you mean? The big, like, long ones? Or the little tiny pack?
No, the long package. Like 12,
I have
14.
No clue. Probably like 10, maybe?
However many are in there. It's like opening 15 individual presents in one candy sitting.
But that's what I don't like about them. You have to open every single one. What I do like, though, the specific Starbursts that I really like are the tiny ones. Because they are literally Starbursts, but tiny, and they come in a bag and they're all unpacked. Man.
You get the long pack where you open it all, and then you can separate them by color, and then you pick and choose what color you want to eat, and you open up that individual Starburst, you pop it in the mouth, it's delicious, and then you say, hey, I just had an orange one that time. Maybe I want a pink one this time. Maybe I want a red one this time. So many options, so many pieces of that puzzle in one little package of candy. It's amazing. Number one, and there's only one choice. It's not even close. It's Mike and Ike. It's a taste explosion. And unlike you, who likes would you say the red one's the best?
Yeah.
No, I don't discriminate on Mike and Ike's. And I don't eat them individually. I just, in that box, you shake that box, you can hear the goodness inside. You pop it open, grab a handful.
Here's the fact.
Just toss it in, man.
You know, we were on what do you call it? Packaging, opening up the eggs that we got. All right, and you told me if any of those are Mike and Ike's, they're gone or they're mine.
I was gonna take them, absolutely.
And when the older one, brother, was...
You're allowed to say his name on the podcast. It's not a secret who he is.
Yeah, I don't want to say his name. I'm just going to say, my brother, your son...
Yes.
...was opening his presents. He shook it, and you said, oh, wow, those are mine, before he even unwrapped it. Because they were Mike and Ike's. Mm-hmm. How do you know? How do you know those were Mike and Ike's?
You can just hear it.
How?
I'm a Mike and Ike expert. I don't know.
Well, because there's like Skittles, M&M's, and Mike and Ike's. They all sound the same.
No, Mike and Ike's have a distinct sound when you shake that box. I'm just saying. So that's our list.
What's your favorite Easter candy, though?
I
need you could just blurt it out, one thing.
Man, probably the Reese's eggs. I mean, they're just. Although I may have to go with you. The Starburst jelly beans are really, really good.
They're really good.
Really good.
Really good. I think that's it. I mean,
you know what we did with this list that we said we'd never do?
What?
We gave free promos to all these candies.
Dang it.
That's okay. That's okay.
But if they do want to sponsor us, though.
Absolutely. And before I get into our new segment, I do want to call out our listeners who I love dearly, but I don't think we had the 200% increase this week, like we've had the last 2 weeks.
No, last episode was a little dry spot. I don't know what happened there.
I think we need to put some responsibility on our listeners to continue to get the word out. You've done a great job up to this point, but we can't get lazy here. We need to continue to push through that wall, and so promote the podcast. Send it to your friends, send it to your family, send it to your coworkers. Walk across the street to your neighbor. Tell them to go on Spotify. Download, just do it. Okay. So, let's get to our new segment. Again, it's called Zip It. And it's where one of us, and today I guess it will be me, has the opportunity to share with our listeners or get something off our chest that is bothering us in the sports world.
And it's probably mostly going to be you every time because I don't.
I got to be honest. The fact that we only do this podcast once a week, I could go on a rant like every single day about something in sports. I've already got 3 lined up after this one. So
you're on deck.
I think they'll still be relevant, in the weeks ahead. But today, my rant is about the one and only Dabo Swinney. You know who Dabo is, right?
No.
The Clemson football head coach.
Okay, what about him? Well,
Dabo, the aw shucks, the golly gee, he's a absolute hypocritical fraud of a man. He's a coach who's willing to welcome with open arms the free market competition to leverage his $8.5 million per year salary. But he has issues with his players doing the same thing. $8.5 million
per year?
He's
not even a player
to coach a college football team. Now,
is he the highest paid or is Nick Saban?
No, Nick Saban is, but I'm not mad at Dabo for making $8.5 million a year. And honestly, I think it may be closer to $9 or $9.5 million a year. But I'm not mad at him. I don't know if a college football coach is worth that, but if someone's willing to pay him that, then he absolutely is, right? It's free market, it's competition. So good for Dabo making $8.5 million. But the fact that Dabo is going to throw shade at his players for being given the same opportunity, just zip it, Dabo. Just zip it. So last week, I think it was last week, Dabo had a quote, and I actually wrote this quote down. He actually had an asinine quote, and the emphasis on ass. He said, basically he was asked a question about college football coaches making exorbitant salaries. And his quote was, "None of us set the markets on what we do. We live in a capitalist society." End of his quote.
And I really quickly just want to say, I know it's your rant time, but I just looked it up, and the lowest paid head coach in the NFL, head coach, is Matt LaFleur with $5 million. What was his name? Dabo Swinney?
It's Dabo.
Dabo
Yes.
Is getting paid more than a very good Matt LaFleur. Or a pretty good Matt LaFleur.
Now you got me on a different rant.
All right, well, just keep going.
The fact that you called Matt LaFleur good is...
we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. No. We're not going to get into that. Continue.
So Dabo says he can't control the fact that he makes $8.5 million because it's a capitalist society, and basically that's what people are willing to pay him. That's fine, Dabo. So it's okay for Dabo to maximize his value in a capitalist system, but he has issues with an 18 or an 18-year-old doing the same thing. Because he basically came out and said the new NIL deal where players can get paid is bad for college football. So it's okay that he makes money in the capitalist society or system, but his players can't do that. So I have serious issues with Dabo. Basically, these kids, these college football players, they're already being held hostage by the NCAA because they're not permitted to go pro for 3 years. So when you go to college, you have to play for 3 years before you can be eligible for the NFL draft. So basically, Dabo's saying these kids should be thankful for the scholarship that they're getting and the monthly stipend when they potentially have millions of dollars staring at them in the face that they can't take advantage of. Because a corrupt organization like the NCAA, which is made up of out of touch, entitled, rich, white dudes, let's clarify that, old white dudes, say that they're not allowed to go to the NFL and make more money. because they want them to continue to play and take advantage of them for that 3-year period. So look, I'm not saying that the opportunity that these kids have for that free education, for that scholarship, for that avenue to showcase their skills and create a path to the NFL isn't something they should be thankful for. They should. It's a great start. But why should that be the ceiling for them if there are bigger and better opportunities out there? So if you're a kid right out of high school and you can go to the NFL and make a ton of money, why shouldn't you have that opportunity? You should. Because in Dabo's world, it's okay for Dabo to take advantage of that, but not his players. So I know the rant's about Dabo, but I will give Dabo a little bit of credit where credit's due. So Dabo says the NIL, which was where players in college can get paid money now, it's out of control and it's not sustainable. And I absolutely agree with Dabo there. He's 100% correct. That is a problem the NCAA created. So everyone knew that some form of the NIL was coming out for years. We knew this was coming. The NCAA had plenty of time to put a set of rules and regulations around the NIL concept. But instead, Mark Emmert, do you know who Mark Emmert is?
Nope.
Mark Emmert is the president of the NCAA. So Mark Emmert and his cronies sat on their hands and let the Wild West ensue with the NIL. Mark Emmert is another fraud. He's a dude that has made millions of dollars working as a puppet for the college presidents. He's a guy that will throw the book at a school for buying a pizza for a kid that's on a recruiting visit, but he takes 3 years to punish a school that's on tape funneling money to a player. So there were a handful of college basketball teams, LSU and Will Wade, Arizona, and Kansas, that were on tape. Their coaches were on tape talking about giving recruits money when at a time before the NIL came out and they weren't allowed to do that. But him and his NCAA cronies won't do anything about that. That's why I'm actually fine with the new NIL rules. Players getting paid, it was already happening under the table through these crooked programs, but now it's something that's more transparent. The money's out on the table, which is exactly why coaches like Dabo don't like it. Where does it go? Where does the NIL go in the future? I don't know. Could it end up being the demise of college football? Quite possibly. I don't think anybody knows right now. Is it the end of the traditional form of college athletics as we know them? 100% it is. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. And nobody else does either. Now, if there's someone I do feel sorry for, it's the non-Power 5 conferences as schools, especially in football. They're basically on life support, right? So those schools can't compete with the NIL dollars like the Ohio States, the Georgias, the USCs. They just don't have the financial means. So basically, we're going to see a massive transformation in college sports. So the Power 5 conferences, they're going to break off at some point and do their own thing. And they're going to leave those non-Power 5 conferences to figure it out on their own, which is unfortunate. Now, it was going to happen anyway, right? The haves and have-nots, they already couldn't compete. The NIL is just going to expedite what direction that goes. But again, the non-Power 5 conferences were never going to compete, at least in football. The divide was just, it was too big and it was getting bigger each year. So, on occasion we had a Appalachia State beating a Michigan, which was hilarious, by the way. We got Cincinnati in the playoffs this year, but on a regular basis, we're never going to see a Conference USA, a Sun Belt conference compete with a Power 5 conference on a regular basis. And again, it's unfortunate, and I love those schools. I went to Bowling Green, a MAC school, a non-Power 5 school. And it's fun to see them play the Power 5 conferences, but at the end of the day, it's just a money grab for them. They're going to play them for a paycheck, and they have little to no ability to compete. So if the new NIL rules expedite the new path between the Power 5 and non-Power 5 conferences, so be it. Just rip the Band-Aid off, finally. The players that play the game, they prop up the entire system. So why shouldn't they get to take advantage of the same financial opportunities as a coach like Dabo and his capitalist system does? Dabo, this is the same guy who claimed in 2019 he would quit coaching college football if players ever got paid. That's how big a hypocrite he is. 2019, he said, if players get paid, I'm going to quit. Well, guess what year it is? 2022. Guess who's still coaching college football? Dabo. And the funny part is, in 2019, when he said that, I would have begged Dabo to quit. I would have begged him to quit. Dabo was on top of the world. Clemson was on top of the world. And as an Ohio State football fan, it absolutely drove me crazy because Clemson was a thorn in our side and we could never beat them. But in 2022, I'm begging Dabo to stay. His program is absolutely done. It's over. Their run is over. They don't have the monetary advantages to compete like they did before the NIL came into play. They can no longer funnel under the table the money to the 4- and 5-star recruits because now it's a free-for-all. And Clemson, particularly Clemson, I don't think they have the booster horsepower to keep up with the big boys. So Ohio State can offer a recruit much more money than Clemson can. Georgia can offer much more money than a Clemson can. So basically, Dabo isn't seeing a Deshaun Watson walk through the door anymore. Dabo isn't seeing a Trevor Lawrence give him the time of day anymore. The smoke and mirrors that Dabo had going on before the NIL came, they're over with. The money's out on the table for everyone to see. And if I use a poker analogy, Dabo's sitting there with a pair of 5s against a whale sitting beside him who's got a full boat. So, golly gee, that sucks for Dabo. But you know what? Dabo can just zip it. Zip it. That's my rant. That's all I got. What happened? I think I blacked out for a minute.
I'm in shock. I feel so educated now. My mind is open. I'm speechless.
That actually felt good. Get that off my chest.
I don't know how long you went on for. I actually don't think it was that long.
I think it was. I think it was long. But that's okay.
I think it was good. I liked it.
It was therapeutic for me. So thank you for entertaining me and giving me the ability to do that on your podcast. So
it's not. No. It's not my podcast.
Okay, it's our podcast. So I think that's our show for today. Next week, it'll be right before the NFL draft. Maybe we'll do a little draft preview of maybe what we think is going to happen. And then the next podcast we can talk about actually what happened with the draft.
You know.
Yep.
That's going to be it. Happy Easter again.
Happy Easter. And
go down the links, just Twitter, YouTube, all of that stuff. Link in the description. Go follow the podcast, and we will see you hopefully in the next one.
See y'all later.